Welcome, everybody. Welcome. So glad to be back with you. It is week 13, the virtual runoffs. Welcome, one and all, to the Spec Racer Ford vRunoffs here on Apex Racing TV. I am your host, Jim Hodgson, aka Big Papa. Joining me on commentary today is my friend and esteemed colleague, Marco Il Re Leone, Il Bocca di Lupo Barbanera, and in the commentary box, of course, Jonathan Johnny Grabs Grabowski. Now today, we are going to see the Spec Racer Fords at Barber Motorsports Park, as you can probably tell from the beautiful pictures on your screen, as Marco would say. Now, I've raced here myself in the real world. I grew up in Alabama. This is a fantastic facility. I cannot wait to see today's race. It is going to be quite something. So, Marco, what can we expect?
First of all, hello everyone. So glad to be able to finally commentate on this championship after doing the cameras for so long and then being unceremoniously sacked by the bosses at Apex for the final 2 rounds of the season. But no, all jokes aside, great to be here, and I would say that we can expect some incredibly close racing in one of the most challenging racetracks I can imagine on the iRacing platform. It's certainly going to be interesting, as qualifying has just finished, and if memory serves me right from last time around, we're going to have some heat racing for you, and there is the starting grid for the first of these heats.
Yeah, I cannot see it, so Marco, you might have to handle it. I'm just getting my computer ducks in a row here. I do apologize.
With pleasure. Bobby West takes your pole position in front of Nils Sendkowski for Vendaval Sim Racing in second. New Gaycox is in third in front of Florence Arabian. It's Austin Winner in fifth, Steven Elson in sixth, and Michael Dobeck, our colleague Larry Lefty McLeod in eighth, Reed Miller in ninth, Miro Raski in 10th place in front of Simon Meyer. Ian Gibson will start in 12th place. Then scrolling down the grid, we have Burke Treidler from California, Thomas Renders, Leon Hobert, Adam Bradshaw, Mark Ian, Michael Nelson, Ian Wilson, Brian Short, David Zwig, Yuri Cox rounds up your grid, and I think we are just getting started with the formation lap for this first race of the evening. Indeed we are. There they are these beautiful cars, 22 drivers participating in this heat one. Of course, the drivers have been split based on qualifying. This is, of course, for the odd numbered qualifiers, so first, third, fifth, and so on and so forth. And of course, this heat will determine the starting grid for these spots. So the winner of this heat will get pole, second place will get third, and so on and so forth. And of course, the other heat will get the other half of the grid done. 31 drivers will go to the main event, and I think this means that everyone will go through. These heats are just a way to basically spice things up, and are in all effect just like the qualifying races that the V8 supercars used to do in Sandown and other places to add a bit more to the spice, so to speak. And man, the elevation changes this place. Not many Europeans may know about it, but I absolutely love it. Jim is going to be great, and I think that you are just about ready to get back with us to commentate on this race start.
Yeah, I am absolutely excited. Like I said, I have raced here before, and I'm thrilled to see these cars. I do love this cars. I love this series as we are navigating the very last couple of turns on the track. This turn here, a great place to lose the car on the outside of this track because you brake and there's a little bit of a dip there. And then this is just all crazy. It's, you know, the car is just completely loaded up on the left side as this last little carousel complex here before the front straight. So I think we're going to have some fantastic racing. Look at the pit car headed into the pits. Here we go. Bobby West will lead the gang around. as we are on the start-finish straight. Winner looking like he's already ready to make some work happen at the front of the field there. We should be crossing the start-finish line any moment now and headed into turn 1. I expect to see some trouble for some of these cars in the carousel, braking at the end of the straight and turning in, headed up the hill into the carousel for the first time. West leading the field, but Sentowski looking like he wants to try to make a pass in the carousel. It could very well happen. A hard thing to do on cold tires, but he has made it work. Now we will go to the hairpin. A tricky braking zone here for the hairpin because you brake downhill. So we'll see how it goes with everybody on cold tires. Here we are with the leader into the hairpin. And it looks like everybody has come through relatively unscathed. Forns Arabian up into third now. And Haycock's there riding along in fourth. Sentowski once again looks at the inside of West. Now, this is the museum complex that we're headed through here. I would not be surprised to see some cars go around, but everybody navigates it safely. So-called the museum turn, the museum complex, because the museum is just to driver's left where we're riding along there. And here we go through the kink. In this car, not too terrifying, the kink, but in a lot of cars, there is the big question of whether you want to lift into the kink or not. Sentowski again has an inside look at West and will take the lead if he can make this turn stick. He breaks at the very bottom of the hill. Arabian also having a look at West for that P2 position. And Sentowski's got himself a little bit of a gap now, Marco, as we're completing the end of lap 1.
Oh yes, and look at that behind them. Oh, there's a car around. That's Reed Miller. Reed Miller was turned or went around just coming out of the final corner. There he is. In his aptly liveried Spec Racer Ford, as he will go back into the racetrack only on P. Oh, and Opek is having a run there in the grass coming out of turn 1, and then he pushes all the way up into the left side of the track. We saw that looking from the back of Austin Winner. But yeah, look, there is a lot of red and orange and yellow. But from first to second, it's only one as we go 3 wide. Getting into the hairpin, the best passing spot for Arabian. These guys need to have, as much as it's easy to say it from here, Jim, these guys need to have a clear front runner to basically try to close the gap between, you know, the fugitive and the peloton, Jim, because otherwise Sentowski is as good as gone.
Yeah, interesting that you guys call that a fugitive. This is not a professional cycling race. It is, in fact, a car race. So we'll refrain too much from talking about professional cycling. But here is a pass into the hairpin, and it looks like, I believe we're looking at Hrasky there, and it looked to me like Wilson attempted a pass there on Hrasky, but Hrasky was able to turn it around on him there in the hairpin. And here we go through the museum turn once more. It looks like we've got a replay coming up. That's Arabian and Winner. We're looking at the blue and white car of Winner here. And it looks like Winner is going to attempt a pass headed into turn 1. He's ready to chase that fugitive down if he can make this pass happen into turn 1. Always difficult to know just how much brake to use at 1. You got to brake some, but you want to be as fast as you can in that carousel as well. Winner manages to get that pass done, but Arabian all over the rear of his car. West, Haycox, and Elson not too far behind. In fact, I think I saw Dobek's car as a member of that train as well. Dobek there in the Williams livery.
Dobek again trying to recover from the error he made. Oh, there's a big slowdown here, big compression as they are able to sort themselves out. But again, that gap 1.1 seconds between first and we have a problem for short. And Nelson there in the back of the field is going to be tough for them to recover. There we go with the replay as they were getting into the hairpin once again. The 555 locking the brakes and clipping the 555 just slightly, but that's enough. You know, these cars, Jim, as you know, don't need a lot of invitation to go around in a corner. They, you know, want to do it even under normal circumstances.
Yeah, you just about have to be careful when standing to the side, to the rear of one of these cars, even when it's sitting still, because they'll often go around on you in utter defiance of the laws of physics. I do love this car, but boy, does it love to rotate. So here we are. We're riding alongside, we're riding with Bradshaw here. Bradshaw looks like he's going to maybe attempt a pass on Treadler in the number 66 machine. Treadler moves to the inside in a protective sort of a move. That's Ian Gibson's car ahead. Here we go through one. Let's see what happens to these guys. They managed to get through safely. Well done. And Bradshaw will indeed have that place to himself unless Treadler can come back. And Bradshaw will now see what he can do about catching Ian Gibson's car. Winner has now caught our leader, and it appears, well, Arabian doing very well under braking in the hairpin now, so we are all back together, Marco.
Oh yes, and Winner is going for it on the inside. Maybe not the smartest choice. He needs to complete the pass before we get to the downhill SS section. I think he might do it, Jim. He does, and that's some very, very risky, but also very nice overtake. And in the last lap, Austin Winner doing what he does best. And as my ancestors would say, Nomen Omen, Austin Winner.
That was definitely a high risk and apparently high reward maneuver. Let's see if the kink is any more exciting now that these cars are completely up to speed and warmed up. Doesn't look like too much of a struggle in these cars. I can tell you that, as I said, a car with any more horsepower and any more top speed, the kink becomes very much a sort of do you lift or don't you lift type situation. Here we are in the final turn back onto the start-finish straight. I like Santowski's I like his chances of attempting a pass here. That little flick of the car, he did think about it, and yes, he will have a look into one, but isn't quite close enough. I think Winner kind of beat him on the brakes there, Marco.
Yeah, that was a good, I would say, very close, but you know, the start-finish line was well positioned to help Austin Winner bring home the victory. So Santowski second, Arabian third, Acox fourth, and West in fifth. And now, of course, as is iRacing tradition, as soon as Short crosses the start-finish line, everyone will be kicked out of the track almost immediately to make way for the drivers of it too. And point in case, Jim, I think this time we are ready for the starting grid of the heat number 2.
Yes, indeed. Well, the action never stops, does it? Here is your grid. It will be Philip Lake in P1, who's got Mick Carr for company there, followed by Greg Stefani and Angelica Palowski. They're in P4. In 5th, it's Jörg Manny and Chris Murakami there for company on row 3, followed by Dominic Bureau and Jason Perry in 7th and 8th. They're followed by Nico Shook and Alessandro Deladon. Look at him. Followed by Ryan G. Walker and Stevie Ray. Thank you so much for all your hard work, Stevie Ray, even though I believe it's Daniel Sadro whom we need to thank today. Thank you so much, Daniel Sadro. Ryan G. Walker in P11 with Stevie Ray for company there, followed by Jeff Jacobson and Ian Haycox, who's followed by Gradwell and Francesco Bernardo in 16th. Then in 17th, it's Johan Batinga, followed by Paul Jackson, Gary Walbolt, Adrian Micot, or probably Macau, or maybe Michau. Je m'excuse, Michel. Followed by Dan Sadro. Thank you for all your hard work, Dan Sadro. And, well, never mind car number 44, because somebody joined the session as a driver rather than just watching, Marco. I don't know who that could have been, but disregard that number 44 car.
Need to ask for a refund because I never bet, but you know, I bet today a large sum of coffee on that 44 winning the race. And Sadro also, I think, is not racing but just organizing. So you know, I think as a fellow league organizer on the Apex Racing League platform, I know that organizing takes away like a second of your lap time, I mean ads, and of course I think you know, in my case my laps become slower than the pace car. By the way, let me say a big hello to Ryan Walker, who has been my companion in many a broadcast here on Apex Racing TV, and always a pleasure to work with him in the past, and he's doing very good you know, now in his as they say, future endeavors, and of course celebrating responsibly his beloved Rangers Football Club finally winning the Scottish Premiership title after so many years of frustration and disappointments and life in the lower leagues. So nice to have Ryan back. He usually does a couple of races in the season, plus the special event. And of course, I also have to say that it seems like the 261 is dressed in the beautiful livery done by yourself, Jim.
Yeah, the livery looks pretty good. It still needs a little bit of work. As you can see, the design is a little bit off-center, but Alessandro seems to be dealing with it. Let me just say, by the way, while we wait for our formation lab to continue, thank you so much to Virtual Racing School for sponsoring the race today. You can improve your on-track performance with those guys. They have a lot of great stuff, Marco, like data packs for road and oval, setups, track guides, data analysis software. You can even get one-on-one coaching, which, as you know, Marco, is my endurance racing teammate. You know very well that I need some coaching. So thank you so much to Virtual Racing School of VRS for being one of our sponsors today. As we finish the final couple of laps, Lake will lead us onto the start-finish straight with Carr and Stefani just behind. It looks to me like Lake has gotten a very good start indeed. The lights will go green as we head over to turn one. Of course, the start-finish stripe, kind of a long way down the straight at this track, which is a little bit frustrating, I have to tell you. Through the carousel for the first time. And it looks like Lake is handling things well. Carr and Stefani look like they have got themselves a little bit of a lead group, a micro gap back to Pavlovsky. And there's Murakami on track behind. So a nice little snake of cars going 3 wide into the hairpin for the first time. I would not advise it, guys. That looks like Manny and Perry. And who's just ahead of Perry? It's Barreau in a different livery than we're used to seeing him. Followed by Dalladon.
For the lead, I think that Carr is moving on the outside. Lake, with his beautiful livery, is able to hold inside the wiggles just a bit. Here comes Stefani on the inside as well, trying to profit from Carr's failed attempt at a pass. As they get ready, look at there, you can just see on the inside. Oh, that was very, very close. And they live to tell the tale. And here comes Pavlovsky for the 3 wide, and we have the same situation as in race 1. These guys are bickering and the leader is pulling away.
Yep, it can certainly happen. Lake is getting himself a little bit of a gap, not quite up to a second yet, but maybe Pavlovsky can chase him down with Stefani and Carr just behind. We're completing yet another lap. I think that looked like Perry in the rear there, taking a very wide line. You don't normally see that. At least, that's not something you want. But like I said, the start-finish line, the stripe, is far down the straight, which means if you don't get a good run on the final turn, you just watch your time ticking away. Here's the fastest lap of the race by Lake there at a 1:45.6.
Also, I see that the start-finish line is a little bit in the team of the... Oh, Ryan Walker! No, my friend, what are you doing? Straight into the wall.
Oh no.
Like this was... I don't know if he got some help or if he went for a run. Let's see.
Oh, he just touched the grass there.
Yeah, and ouch. Poor Ryan. And
yeah, it's tough there in the carousel. I mean, you want to carry as much speed as you can, and basically when you feel the car start to bite, you want to get on the gas. But if you let that moment go a little bit too long, then you do that, and just a touch of the grass will send you sailing.
I have to say, Jim, I absolutely love this very short hit format. It's the same we had in Long Beach 3 months ago for laps, and then of course we'll have the main event. So there Murakami defending from Bureau as the Canadian was looking for a way past. Lap 3 out of 4 starting right now, and once again, as I was saying, we are having a little bit of a deja vu from race 1 with Lake, who's got a bit less than a second this time. I think this time they could get to him a bit quicker Pawlowski is looking very, very racy. I also think that the top 5 of each heat are reversed on the starting grid based on the qualifying. So that might make sense as why some of the quicker drivers are a bit, I wouldn't say far from the end of the field, but you know, starting but yeah, but I mean, being fifth in this field in qualifying, 10th is a great result. As Manny and Perry are going at it, you can see the Spider-Man livery and the number 25 golden and I would say teal car of Manny. By the way, I love Switzerland. I miss going there. Just as an aside, beautiful place.
It is a beautiful place. It is a great place to spend a lot of money.
On chocolate.
They know what a great country they have on their hands.
And Switzerland makes my favorite dish of all time, rust.
Oh yeah? Wow. I'm not familiar with it, but I'd like to get familiar with it.
Oh, Stefani went past Pawlowski. Now Jacobson. Ooh, great save there by Jacobson. Now he tries to rejoin. That grass is like ice. It's a good save. But we had a pass for second place. So Stefani went by Pawlowski just as we were seeing that little crash there. And so as the white flag drops, the gap is 1.4 seconds. So maybe we can see this has been the reverse of race 1. Because...
Yeah.
Oh! Stevie Ray! Dalle donne, Perry, massive wreck in turn 1.
Oh, Alessandro, what has happened to you? Perry dropping down the timing tower.
Maybe it was, you know, I'm trained like what was the name of the famous scientist who did the experiments with dogs?
Pavlov.
Pavlov. I see something magenta and I think of Alessandro, but maybe it was Perry's car. Let's see the replay. Thank you, Jordan. And this was no, this was from earlier, I think. So no harm, no foul. I would say maybe. Oh wow! But no, in turn 1 we don't know what happened there, but certainly that was Jason Perry's car going around.
Yeah.
As Jason has to tow back Jim Ford because he had massive damage, so it's going to be a very, very, very tough main event for him as we are getting into the final few corners.
Yeah, that'll be annoying for Perry as well. He's a good driver. Certainly wouldn't expect to see him having any sort of a trouble as Stefani and Pawlowski here are battling into the final couple of turns. And it looks like they will keep their positions as we go across the start-finish straight. Lake will take it. Manny here battling with Murakami. Murakami might stay ahead. He does, only just. Murakami stays ahead of Manny with Barrow waiting in the wings back there. Everybody else coming across the finish line.
Someone had a massive off in the final corner. We will not be able to see the replay because, again, at the end of the heat, we will be kicked unceremoniously straight into whatever comes next, which I think is the feature, and we will not have a warm-up. So we just wait for the session to switch over, which will happen in a few seconds.
In the meantime, let me say thank you so much to another one of our sponsors, SDK Gaming. You can get a virtual live HUD on iRacing to show your timing towers, enhanced relative boxes, mini maps, fuel calculators, all the information you want to see while you're driving. You can stream all this stuff to Twitch with the most complete overlay on iRacing. This is SDK Gaming. As you can see, we love it so much we use it ourselves. Look, they're the best in the game, no question about it. Broadcast your league, your series. SDK Gaming syncs your commentary team's cameras. It focuses your drive and overlay with your broadcaster. You can adjust your team's strategy on the fly. Just the most accurate live timing there is on iRacing. So give it a look. SDK Gaming, thank you for sponsoring us today. And here is our grid. No surprise to see Austin Winter in first place, joined by Philip Lake in P2. They have Neil Sintowski and Greg Stefani just behind, followed by Florence Arabian and Angelica Pavlovsky. They're followed, of course, by Hugh Haycox and Mick Carr in 7th and 8th, followed by Bobby West and Chris Murakami in 9th and 10th, Stephen Elson and Jörg Manny in 11th and 12th. On we go to P13, which is Larry McLeod. Love him. Good to see you on the grid, Larry. He is joined by Dominique Bureau, and just behind them, Simon Mayer and Nico Shook. They're followed by Leon Robert, Alessandro Dalladon, Ian Gibson, Tom Gradwell, Adam Bradshaw, Haycox, and I lost the rest of the group when it flipped over just there, but after Haycox, it's Triedler, Bernardo, Swig, Butinga, Miller, Ray, Dobeck, Jacobson, Gehan, Jackson, Renders, Walbolt, Haraski, Michaud, Nelson, Walker, Wilson, Perry, Short. And it looks like Yuri Cox, for some reason, isn't on the grid. I don't know why.
Yeah, Yuri Cox is... let's see if he's still in the server. I think he is still in the server, so I think he elected to start from the pits.
Well, I'm loving this, Marco, because we're getting to see some drivers that we don't normally see in the Spec Racer Ford here on week 13. We're getting to see a little bit of what they can do. Guys like Lake and Santowski and, a lot of these folks we see every week in the Weekend Warriors League, but these are some new faces.
Yes, it's absolutely great, and, makes up for some of the names, of course, taking... understandably, I would say, a week off from, especially because, of course, if you really enjoy the Weekend Warriors, they are coming back next time this week for a new season here on Apex Racing TV. So I can imagine some of the drivers wanting to take a break, but this, maybe these runoffs will convince some of these new drivers to, make their Sunday nights, every week full of awesome Spec Racer Ford racing. Who knows? 14 laps for this main event. This is going to be the big one to determine the winner of the runoffs for this week 13 2021 season 1 edition. This is absolutely a staple of the when you said that Alessandro can drive despite the offset livery, were you taking a jab at me for my Skip Barber complaint that the livery is a little bit offset?
What? Would I take a jab at you, my friend? Come on.
Listen, every year when this time of the year comes, I always get a feeling that someone is going to stab me multiple times. So understand my little bit of anxiety.
Yeah, well, tomorrow's the day, isn't it? So,
yes.
Well, you're safe for today, for the next few hours. Marco, of course, speaking of the Ides of March, the 15th of March, which is tomorrow, here is our race. Winner got himself a great start. What happened to Lake there? He just had a bad run. How do you have a bad run through the final corner on the formation lap? That is unheard of. Santowski and Lake now chasing after Winner, but it wouldn't surprise me at all to see Winner getting away. I believe he's the top driver in the Spec Racer Ford in the service, the entire thing over the season we just finished. Here are Lake, Santowski, and Stefani all battling to see who will be the first to go and chase Winner. Well, they got to get through the hairpin first. Braking, that downhill braking zone is just terrifying in any car. I can guarantee you that. And then this double apex hairpin here, it looked like Stefani was flirting with being off the track there. And next, of course, the museum complex. I believe that's Elson and Carr battling there. I can't quite see. That might have, no, that's not Carr. Here is Carr.
Oh,
looking for it at West. Big crash in the museum complex. Arabian bouncing off of other people's cars. Stefani off on the inside. There goes Carr scampling by Stefani and Elson as well. Arabian off. Shook off.
Yorkman is behind that firefighter's vehicle there, trying to rejoin. This could have been a massive wreck. It's just a mid-sized wreck, but I took out a lot of very good cars, unfortunately, and Yorkman, massive damage to his car. I think he has to call it a day.
Yeah, he's not far from the pit in, so he might be able to come around. It looks like some big braking there. Stefani has avoided whatever happened ahead. It looks like whatever happened ahead was with Arabian, and now Arabian trying to avoid other people's cars and just getting battered around. There we saw Dalladon go scraping by. Manny off there. What a mess.
great avoidance skills by a lot of drivers there, because again, it could have been it wasn't pretty, but it could have been very, 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 very ugly, as we follow the action in the mid pack with Meyer, Haycox, Robert, Dalledon, McLeod, Bradshaw, Shook, all of these drivers jostling for position, as Elson has jumped car for fifth place, and there in the back we see Stevie Ray, Pavlovsky, of course Pavlovsky, one of the protagonists of race 2, and I think involved in that mess at the start, that mess we just saw a few moments ago, as they go once again to the scene of the crime here. This time everything seems to be okay, as Jörg Mani made his way under his own power back to the pits. Congratulations to him. He will get a faster pair, try to go out, but it's going to be very, very tough. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, Jim, but compared to the regular season races we do in the Weekend Warriors, there will not be any kind of pit stop here.
I don't think we have quite enough time for it. It's only 14 laps, so we should have plenty of fuel to get around. I think instead of pit stops, we had those heats before. We're looking at Murakami here, looking forward at Elson's car. That's car on the inside there. Whatever car was attempting, I don't think it's going to happen, although Murakami trying to decide which horse he wants to pick into turn one, whom he wants to follow. That's Elson, car, Murakami, and just behind Barreau. I just wanted to say about that museum complex where we saw the wreck before. It is such a cool part of the track, and the weirdest thing, Marco, is that it's not really, they don't really have any way to view the racing there other than to be inside the museum. And we'll see as we come through the hairpin here, as we come out of the hairpin, if you look to the right side of your picture, you can see the museum building here in Sim. There it is, just at the top of your screen. That's the museum building. So if you're inside that building, you're looking down at that museum complex, and there's a ton of elevation there. So you have to brake. It's a chicane and a braking zone. It just all smashed together. It's a really, really technical part of the track. And one of my favorite parts of Barber, I just absolutely love this track. But it's just weird to me that they don't accentuate it enough. You know, there should be a grandstand there, in my opinion. It is a corner of the track, but there is a bridge. Oh, there's the museum there to your left. There's a bridge right here where we are. In real world, there's a bridge with glass sides that goes over the track. So you can stand out there and watch the cars go by if you are a member of the museum. They don't let just anybody in there. But it's all pretty weird.
It's strange because usually on racetracks they try to, block off the view from the bridges,
Yeah.
to avoid the people.
But this bridge doesn't go anywhere. It goes to like an island in the middle of the track where there are a bunch of trees and things, but there's no reason to go to that. It sort of sticks out over the track, but you wouldn't want to, there's nowhere to go. But this is just an absolutely beautiful facility. I recommend, when you are a spectator, the sort of spectator hill is down here. Well, we just flipped away from it, but it's down on the very bottom, and you can see a lot of the track from the places where they do put the grandstands. So it is a great spectator track.
Cameras on Jason Perry, of course, victim of a bad crash towards the end of race 2, of heat number 2, apologies, and now trying to make its way back up through the field, now going side by side with the slightly Irish car of Adam Bradshaw. And I think Lake has had an excursion in the grass.
Yeah, it looks like it. He and Santowski were pretty close, weren't they?
And he's now down to 4th. There he is. So I think he went for a little bit of agricultural racing and then lost the position. There we go.
Dear.
Lost 2 positions, in fact.
Yeah, big off there at the... Well, that's unfortunate, but for Santowski, I think this is going to be possibly his best chance of chasing Winner down. Winner's got that gap up to just about 3 seconds over Santowski. Santowski and Lake battling away. But with Santowski free now, maybe he'll be able to chase Winner down, although just since I've been talking, Winner has taken that taken that gap up a little bit.
38.9 for Winner, 39.6 for Sentkoski, as we see there towards the back of the field some of the drivers who were having issues in the beginning, like Florence Arabian, trying to come back. There is a lot of activity in the pits because a lot of drivers have been involved in some shenanigans, and they need, I think, a quick repair. But Florence Arabian only up to 29th, of course. It's tough to, this is a very, very balanced field. I think that it's hard to recover on a regular season race, but in a shorter race like this, almost impossible. But of course, honoring the competition. Florence Arabian around the outside and trying to get the job done on Michaud, and he has to stay put, I think. But he will try to make the move here in the museum section. And down they go, side by side, very carefully tiptoeing their way around this place. I have trouble getting there with the Skip Barber car, so I have no idea how these guys managed to continue. As Mick Carr has entered pit road.
Oh dear, Michaud has a little bit of an off there. You're right, Carr into the pits. Well, his car was pretty beat up, so it doesn't surprise me if he can grab a fast repair. You can see his rear deck lid is a little bit wadded up there. He's taken some one or two little love taps in the rear of the car.
And Pawlowski also is in. I'm seeing. I'm trying to look at the race notes if we have some limit on the fuel tank size. Yes, we have 28% only, so we might see pit stops after all.
Well, it's the battle of the commentators on track now, with Deladon just behind McLeod, and they're attempting to get around Murakami. Murakami's there on the inside, and McLeod on the out with the eyeballs. See what happens here once again through Museum Complex. And Deladon's kept that pretty tight, but I think McLeod might have gotten the run on Murakami. He will attempt to get the pass done before the kink, or possibly through it. Too wide through that kink. And McLeod comes out just ahead. I think Murakami might have had to tap the brakes, and he might well lose a place to Deladon as well.
I am absolutely shocked that Deladon still hasn't crashed.
Yeah, that is shocking, isn't it?
But he makes the move stick up to P6. Of course, he owes us a pit stop. If pit stops are indeed a thing, with 28% fuel tank size, one would imagine. Oh, Jason Perry's crashed again, unfortunately. And he has towed back to the pits. Stevie Ray heads for pit road together with Jacobson. But this week 13, not Jason Perry's week 13. See, there is a lot of smoke.
Oh no. Oh, Perry gets hit again. Oh, that's the replay. Oh,
there was
nothing
a car
Perry could do.
Yeah, there was a car stuck in the middle of the road, and the new smoke system for iRacing makes it that more difficult to spot a troubling situation. Couple that with the up and down nature of this racetrack, and that was basically a terrible recipe for Jason Perry.
My wife got stuck in that very same spot across the track. She got spun out by another car and had to just sit there until she could restart our race car with cars going around. It is not fun being stopped on a live track.
No. Around goes Meyer, and he has to take to the grass and
he'll
go
tow.
back to the pits. Yeah?
He's had enough, has Meyer. Well, there is a man who has not nearly had enough. Winner's gap now up to 4 seconds plus as he comes back onto the start-finish straight once more. Winner has not been into the pits yet. And I apologize to Sentkowski, whom I have been pronouncing Sentowski. My apologies to you, sir. It's one of those sneaky Ks that just got away from me.
You know, I'm a bit pedantic with the pronunciations. and as a massive baseball fan, there was a player that I mispronounced his name for 6 years, and the day I realized I was wrong, it's like all the world crashed on top of my shoulders.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I do take pride in trying to get everybody's name right, especially, you know, doing a poor job at speaking a couple of different languages. I do try to get everybody's name right, but sometimes there are some that are pretty tough to say. There is Wilson, and I guess that's a British Leyland sort of a livery he's got going there.
It reminds me of one of the older Williams liveries from the late 70s, early 80s, but I might be completely wrong, of course.
Impossible. I won't hear of it.
Now, Walker getting passed by Robert into 11th place. By the way, Leon Robert would be a beautiful name for a cyclist.
Yeah, I've been wondering what's happened to some of those FDJ, you know, and AG Desire riders that we were expecting so much from, like Jeremy Bois. He's supposed to be the...
You know, I'm not a big fan of French language. I don't speak it, but man, I say the French team names every time I can, as though back goes to the pits, like you were saying, Française de Jeu, Un Jeu de Zer, La Mondiale, Crédit Agricole, and so on.
Yeah.
it's like a drug, you know. you can pretend you speak French.
Yeah. Well, it's, yeah.
Ooh, and from the early 2000s, one of my favorites, Brioche La Boulangère.
Yeah. That's good fun.
McLeod,
Well,
and...
yeah, I was just going to say the battle going on between McLeod and Deladon here.
Yeah, so the 133 of McLeod, the 261 of Daledon, there they are. Daledon, I know him, surely won't be unsettled by that very menacing rear of McLeod's car. Oh, mistake, as I was saying.
Oh, commentator's curse on a commentator.
Yeah, but in case of Alessandro, I'm happy to have commentator cursed him.
Well, you know, for having an off track, he appears to have hung on to most of his speed. This is Shook, and Bernardo battling their way down the back straight and through the kink. And I guess they're a little ways down from Murakami, who is a little ways down.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but Bernardo, we haven't heard his name as McLeod and Murakami going for their stop. We haven't heard a lot from him in the also Shook is in in the regular season, but I see on the side of his car he races for Piposto Squadra Corse, and Piposto is a very archaic name in Italian for a two-seater race car, which this is not one of them.
True.
Everyone is in. I would imagine either these guys underfueled the car because they had fuel for the 8th race, or the fuel limit is indeed a thing. But for the time being, everyone has stopped, apart from Gibson, who is in 18th place, and your top 8.
Yeah, everybody down to Walker, I believe? No. Hrasky have not been in. There we are looking at Treadler. Here is Haycox. Looking forward at Nielsen's car. Will Haycox be able to get around? A little bit of defensive positioning there from Nelson. Let's see what happens into turn 1 if Haycox is able to make some work happen. No. And out of the pits just behind.
Either Bradshaw or Boitenga coming out of the pits there. By the way, in the race chat, Greg Stefani apologetic for turning Forens in the corkscrew and basically causing that big mess. West is in the pits from P4.
Yeah, I was in this car last night, Marco. Oh, they're...
Oh, Wilson and Cratwell.
Yeah.
And Arabian also has gone somewhere very wide because he's losing positions. we had a spin just off the camera, and now let's see Arabian. Ooh, too aggressive on the curb. And he has to get back on the track, losing a position to the 42 of Michael Dobek, sorry.
I do feel sometimes, Marco, that this car is a bit of a moving target. You know, it doesn't seem, it just doesn't handle the same way through the middle and the end of the race that it did at the beginning. So it's almost like you're driving 4 different cars during the race, because there's the cold tires, cold brakes car for the first lap, lap and a half. Then there's the car that you expect. And then as the tires go off and the car gets a little bit lighter, oddly, it seems to me at least to get even harder to drive toward the end of the race. You almost can't trust your braking markers toward the end of the race.
You know, it's like driving Mario Kart in race car form, you know, because you never know what it can throw at you.
True. Well, Deladon has got himself up to P4, Marco, if you can believe it.
Someone says in the chat that my French is terrible, and I wholeheartedly agree. And Winner and Sandkowski are both in Soda's Lake, and I would imagine Daledon, Walker, and Hraski, they will go in at the same time, because we are, I would imagine, at the limit of the fuel range. Here comes Daledon, and I expect Walker in there is. And Miro should be the last one. Very tricky pit entrance here. Very narrow. And here comes Rasky. So all the drivers who owed us a pit stop are in, apart from Ian Gibson.
Well, everybody now headed out of the pits. Will West inherit the lead? He gets headed out, but he might not get ahead of Winner. In fact, I think Winner, Santowski, and Lake all managed to stay ahead. So Winner still in the lead of the race with Stevie Ray all over his gearbox here.
Yeah, there was a great stop for Winner and Santowski. They were able to, well, Winner at the fastest stop of the race, apart from Walker. Walker at 7 seconds flat. Well, Dobek at 6:47. So the third quickest stop of the race, the one from Austin Winner, 8 seconds for Santowski. A very quick stop for Philip Lake as well. But this basically is your running order, and from now on is a shootout to the end, even though, as you can see from the left side of your screen, Austin Winner is absolutely running away with it. There was the Benetton tribute livery there sitting on the side of the track just as Winner was going by. No harm, no foul there, as we see Walker and Acox.
What an event it has been. Winner must have just crossed the stripe as I saw the lap click over from 13 to 14th.
I still have 13 laps. Okay. Last night we had a Skippy Oval race with the laps that didn't count under caution, and I was really confused for a good portion of the race. Like, I knew the rule, but every time they went past, I said, why is the lap counter not updating? And then, oh yeah, because they don't count, and so on and so forth for an hour and a half.
You know, I've been racing on this thing for 7 or 8 years now, and I'm still surprised by all the rules. Here is Shook. It looks like Bernardo has at some point been able to get around Shook, as we saw these guys battling in the opposite order. And there is the livery that Marco was talking about there on Bernardo's car. Arabian, way back in the order, sets the fastest lap of the race at a 1:38.5. He's managed to race his way back up to P16, has Arabian, as he goes into the hairpin for his penultimate trip. Pretty tough little section of the inside of the course here, Marco, the hairpin. It's kind of there's more turns there than you think.
Yeah, and when you are alone, it's tough because it can really catch you off guard. If you are in a group, of course, especially there at the hairpin, everyone wants to make a move there. So again, this track scares me massively with the Skip Barber. I cannot imagine with this car, as Austin Winner takes the white flag. Sarella Blanca here in Barber. One more lap to go for our Heat 1 winner, and looks like feature race winner in this very, very special Week 13 Spec Racer Ford vRunoffs.
Absolutely beautiful facility and beautifully rendered in the service. I think it's, and all of this, Marco, if you can believe it, all paid for by milk.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Barber Milk. That's how he made his money. Mr. Barber?
You know, I'm just a few letters away from being a track entrepreneur. Then.
Well, yeah. Save your pennies. Another fastest lap of the race by Arabian. He beats himself at a 138.5. He might have just equaled himself. There he goes, driving very fast and probably a little bit annoyed at having been spun around in the museum complex. Through the hairpin for the final time goes Farns Arabian, driving through a cloud of smoke, most likely left there by Dobek and those other guys ahead. It looks like Shook just got around Bernardo. Nice work, Shook. So that battle is really going on there. There it is. Shook managed to just get around, but I think Bernardo is going to be able to come right back at him. Here is Winner on the start-finish straight for the final time. He will make his way across the stripe, take the checkered flag and the win. Well done to Austin Winner. Here is what a battle we've got going on here. That's Hraski. Dobek just got ahead, and Robert.
Oh dear.
And a little bit of an over-under here for Hraski and Dobek. Hraski's going to get ahead in the 205 machine. Let's see if he's able to hang on to it. And there's a very slow car. There's a rolling chicane ahead of Hraski. That might hold him up, but it looks like Dobek is not close enough to make anything happen. Robert will win that battle between those three cars as he crosses the finish line. Drivers, if you're listening, do stop in and have a little chat with us, won't you?
Yeah. I'll try to get our chat bot in the YouTube chat to put the Discord link on. If it's, of course, you know, our bot is very Italian in the sense that doesn't when there are two streams going on at the same time, it doesn't like to work, but this time it does. So there is the link. Of course, we are having Apex Racing League GT going on at the same time, and later tonight, 1 hour earlier than usual, if you are here in Europe, because our good friends in the US have switched to daylight savings, which means that every baseball, football, hockey, whatever sporting event starts 1 hour earlier for 2 weeks, which makes me very happy. But also our broadcast of the Colorado Karting Tour will start 1 hour earlier. That will be at 1 a.m. GMT. So plenty of racing to keep you company for the night, as everyone is home safe and sound, as waiting for the demo derby. But before that, I think we can go through the final race results for this week 13 Spec Racer Ford vRunoffs.
Yes, indeed. And here they are on your screen as you see cars slipping in the background. It was Austin Winner who took the win here in the feature race, followed by Niels Sentkovsky, Philip Lake, Bobby West, Alessandro Dalladon fill out the top 5. They're followed in 6th by Mick Carr. Our pal Larry McLeod finishes up 7th. He's followed by Chris Murakami in 8th, Ryan G. Walker in 9th, and Hugh Haycox in 10th. Big field. The rest of everybody, of course, Nico Shook, Francisco Bernardo, Leon Robert, Miro Hraski, Michael Dobek, Florence Arabian Burke, Treadler, and Ian Haycox down into 18th. In 19th place, it was Adam Bradshaw, followed by Dominique Burrow, Reed Miller, Michael Jean Nelson, Jeff Jacobson, Tom Gradwell, Johan Butinga, Brian D. Short, Mark Gehan, Ian Gibson, Gary Walbolt in 29th, Ian Wilson in 30th, followed by Stevie Ray, Adrian Michaud, David Swig, Stephen Elson, Jörg Manny, Simon Mayer, Jason Perry, terrible race for Perry, Angelica Pavlovsky, probably not a great race there either. Thomas Renders, Greg Stefani, Paul Jackson, Yuri Cox. Rounds out the actual racing drivers, and ignore that final name there. That person should not have registered as a driver.
Well, you finished in 44th with number 44, so I think that counts for something, no?
Well, let's pretend it does anyway. So, Marco, what do you say we drag in some folks and have some interviews here? Here is your race winner, Austin Winner. Austin, you pretty much drove away with this one. How are you feeling?
Pretty good. I think I got lucky. I got a good start, and then second and third were side by side for a bit, so I could get a pretty good gap on them, and was lucky enough to have a trouble-free race after that.
Yeah, I was interested to see if Sentkovsky, once Lake had a little bit of an issue, I think in the kink, but lost his car. He and Sentkovsky were battling. So I was thinking that maybe once Lake kind of dropped down and Sentkovsky was all by himself, that he'd be able to catch you, but it didn't appear to be the case.
And with such a short format, you know, it kind of rewards risk and tough to, even if you're a faster driver, you know, you have maybe 5 laps to catch up after an issue. So I just got lucky with that start.
Now, do you drive at Barber often? Did you put in any practice on this track?
Very little. I think I put in maybe 20 minutes this week, and then, you know, there was an hour-long practice before this race. But before that, I think we raced it maybe in like 2015 or something, a long time ago, old tire model. I essentially had to relearn the entire track.
Yeah, it's really got some surprises in it, doesn't it? Some downhill braking zones and swooping craziness.
Yeah, it's a very technical track. I love it. Interesting. A lot of blind corners, a lot of reducing radius corners, which are really difficult in the SRF with the lift-off oversteer, and, you know, trail braking makes it tail happy.
Yeah, it definitely does. Certainly does for me anyway. So you finished up season 1 in didn't you finish at the top of Spec Racer Ford?
I think David Gaspers beat me. He beat me just about every race we were head to head. So I had poor luck in the official races.
Unfortunate. Well, we hope to see you in the next season, and it was great to see you on track today. So I hope you're feeling good about a win in the future race.
It was great, and thank you guys for coming in and broadcasting on the off week, and it was a lot of fun.
Awesome. Great. Thank you so much. That was Austin Winner, today's first place winner in the feature race. I'm sure we will see plenty more of him as the season gets started. All right, Marco, it looks like we have another driver waiting here to have an interview with us. Do you want to drag him in and have a chat?
Absolutely. Welcome to the booth, Nils Sentkovsky. Nils, correct me if I'm wrong, you're not a regular as of late of these Weekend Warriors series, but I mean, you looked very, very comfortable out there.
Yeah, I think over the last 3 seasons or so, I did one race where I died on lap 1, so was a good comeback here. Kind of messed up the first couple of laps, which let Austin get away. But yeah, once Philip went off in the chicane, it was kind of a lonely race for me, because everybody from 4th back had an issue in the first lap I saw. So yeah, not much happening this race, but still good comeback to the SRF for me.
Yeah, I mean, especially because I don't know if there is an easy race with this car, and especially on this track. I mean, you picked a very, very tough place to make your comeback.
Yeah, I do like the track. I do like Barber, and to be fair, I didn't have 100% confidence in the car, so I kind of took it easy most of the time, and just wanted to not throw away the good position I was in. Yeah, worked out quite well, so I'm happy with that.
Now, of course, there's still a week left, but we see you sometimes during the regular season of the Weekend Warriors.
I hope so. I want to get back into it with a friend and teammate, so you might see 2 blue Vanderwall cars more regularly on the grid for next season. And yeah.
Well, that is awesome news, Nils. Congratulations again on this great performance. Before we let you go, anyone you'd like to thank?
I'd like to thank our sponsors, of course, SimoCube, Drawons, and Falco, who are supporting us. And also shout out to my teammate who couldn't make it today because of real life stuff, Jason Steeney, who kind of got me back into this Weekend Warriors vRunoffs Week 13 Big Red Race.
Awesome. Well, thanks a lot, Nils. Hopefully we'll catch you sometime during the regular season.
Thanks, see ya.
And Jim, that is with perfect timing that we are just about ready to call it a day or a night.
Yeah, what a pleasure it was to be with you guys today. Thank you so much for joining us again. I am Jim Hodson on behalf of Marco Barbanera and Jonathan Grabowski. We sure do appreciate you joining us for the Spec Racer Ford vRunoffs live on Apex Racing TV. Join us next week as we get the season started with the Weekend Warriors. Cannot wait. Do come back and join us, and thank you so much to VRS and SDK Gaming for their sponsorship. We will see you guys next time.